Yeah, a couple of things have happened in the last month, really, that have increased our confidence in Tesla. It's already high. It's the number two position in the flagship fund. But when we saw GM and Ford really pulling away from EVs until they become profitable, that was telltale for us in terms of share gains available to Tesla. What's puzzling is that GM and Ford are not going to be profitable with electric unless they scale. And so it's a bit of a puzzling decision. And the other thing, of course, GM has basically shut down Cruise, partly for regulatory reasons, partly out of an abundance of caution on the autonomous side. And, they're losing a lot of talent because of it. And again, we do believe that Tesla is in the pole position to be the autonomous taxi platform in the United States. Cruise pulling out adds to our confidence there as well.
Yes, and I asked the question in my previous video, is 2024 the year that Tesla releases robotaxis, at least at a limited scale, potentially San Francisco, maybe Austin? I thought Farzad had a good prediction for 2024, though. He said FSD will transition from it's never going to work to no one's going to trust this thing in 2024. In other words, the haters are going to have to find a new narrative to spin as FSD V12 takes full self-driving to new heights.
Cathie, I'm curious what your current thinking is on the timeline of when Tesla is going to be able to get there. I mean, this is something that is difficult, we have seen, not just for Tesla, but other companies. Tesla tends to push timelines back. So when do you think that is going to arrive and therefore, I would assume, unlock value, more value for the shares as well?
Well, we're seeing some data here that I think is compelling. If you look at a Tesla, and this is based on Tasha Keeney's work, one of our analysts on Tesla, if you look at the number of miles between accidents in a Tesla with full self-driving, it's roughly 3.2 million miles. If you look at a Tesla without full self-driving and do the same analysis, it's one every 600,000 miles. So a Tesla with FSD is 5 times safer than a Tesla without, and 6 times safer than the average car on the road, which I guess is in an accident. This is on surface streets. It's actually more than 6 times. Is the average car on surface streets is in an accident once every roughly 200,000 miles. So pretty astonishing safety metrics. And on Spaces, when we were speaking to Elon Musk, I was asking him about NHTSA. And NHTSA is the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, and just how he felt the NHTSA was going to use this data. Was it important to NHTSA? And he said, absolutely. It's a data-driven organization. So we think that the numbers are compelling. And you know that 80 to 90% of all accidents are caused by human error. So taking the human out actually does make a difference.
These numbers are why I don't think Tesla is going to have a hard time getting regulatory approval for FSD. When you have a software that can literally save people's lives, that is something that regulators just cannot ignore. And Cathie said, the NHTSA makes decisions based on data, and Tesla actually has data that shows that when FSD is engaged, less accidents occur. Now, there's of course still a driver behind the wheel. Tesla does not rely on FSD to make money, so they have the luxury of keeping that driver in the vehicle until it is clear, crystal clear, that FSD is more reliable than human driving, and then they can start to release it and utilize robotaxis. Cruise, on the other hand, needed to make revenue now, and so they rushed the deployment of autonomous vehicles, and this led to first responders being held up by confused Cruise vehicles and even a pedestrian getting dragged across the ground underneath a Cruise vehicle. Of course, these are old stories, but as we turn to neural nets fully end-to-end, we look to see if this takes Tesla to that next step where they can take the driver out of the vehicle.
I'm curious how concerned you are that any further losses at X could force Musk to sell more Tesla shares and put pressure on that stock.
Well, we think that we don't think, we know that X's traffic is going up. They've obviously had some trouble on the advertising front, but advertising will follow traffic, we believe, and users, number of users. And we do believe those will continue to increase. His reason for buying X, we believe, is sound and will be successful. He wanted to preserve free speech in the only really global public town square, so to speak. And it's working. If you look at our business, if you look at ARK, our business has been built by giving our research away on X. X is the most productive social network for us as we are attempting to engage with innovators, people who are out there heads down innovating. We're getting information we would never get from anyone else. It's not inside information. It's information about the technologies evolving out there. And I think you'll see anyone involved in technology or in digital assets, so crypto, finds X to be a very productive and necessary outlet and really source of information. So now that's only the first step for him. He really, and again, he emphasized it on our Spaces session with him, he is looking at the everything app. Think WeChat Pay, where it'll be not just a social network, but a network for commerce and for financial services. Remember, that's how he started out in the entrepreneurial world. It was a financial services company, digital financial services company, which he sold to PayPal. And I think his vision encompasses all of that. And if he is right, given where that stock is valued right now, I think less than $20 billion in equity market cap, if he is right, then this is going to be the beginning of a very, very strong run for X. And one other thing.
Yes.
X.AI, which he wants to take public as well, about a quarter of that will go to existing X holders. That's a very nice call option out there.
You know, throughout this entire Twitter purchasing story this past year, I think one of the most underrated advantages to Tesla and to Tesla shareholders is that it makes Elon uncancelable. He has 167 million followers on Twitter. And with all of the things he said this year about Democrats and Jews and, however you want to interpret it, and people do interpret it, there's no guarantee that he would still have his account today if the old Twitter operators were still in charge. When he bought Twitter, he was worth, $300 billion. He paid $44 billion, not just for free speech and protecting free speech and protecting a platform that gives people the right to speak freely, but also he now has his voice secured. He has those 170 million people. And this is easily Tesla's biggest marketing source is Elon's Twitter account. Now that is secure, and we don't have to worry about it. Elon can speak his mind. He can continue to share stories about Tesla, and it is not in jeopardy from the former operators of Twitter. And there's several other advantages as well. And besides having a free speech platform, the biggest advantage for Tesla shareholders that I see is the real-time data feed it gives to Grok. Grok is going to be implemented in Tesla vehicles. It's going to be implemented in Optimus. And as we move forward into a robotic future, as long as Elon owns Twitter, Tesla's robots are going to be the most intelligent in the world because they are the only robots that have access to this real-time data feed that humans are using. This will make Tesla's robots human-like, and that is the biggest advantage I can think of. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm really, really excited for 2024. I've got some exciting things planned, so make sure you subscribe for that, and I'll see you guys later.